In this episode, a look at some new additions to the collection, including a grail item, a controversial cover, and a few curios.
Hello, welcome to the latest edition of Crushed Custard, and it's a latest additions edition. So this is part one of latest additions to the Custard Central collection, which came through the door in February. And more to the point, they didn't actually come through the door. I actually went out and fetched these from the local record fair. Not that I don't always go to the local record fair, but I did this time. I also picked up a grail item. I picked up an album that I have been looking for years. And when I say years, I mean I started looking for this album when this was brown. This, what's left of it, was all the way down here. This didn't exist. It's a long time. And it's not an album that's particularly well known or sought after or anything, but it's just one that I wanted, and I've never even ever seen one out in the wild before ever. I'd only seen pictures of it, and so it was the last thing I found as well at this record fair. I went through a couple of stores and picked up a couple of bits of a few people, and then there was one big store at the bottom. And a bloke had got loads of stuff, and I found half a dozen things of him that I wanted, and I sort of said, yeah, we'll do a deal on these. And then I looked in his last box and I saw this, and it was, oh blimey, let's renegotiate this deal now. And what can I have this for? It's an album that I'm guessing a lot of you will never have heard of, by an artist that I am guessing quite a lot of you will never have heard of. But what I am going to say to you is, if you in your record collection have got any records from the 1970s which had female backing vocalists on, there is a very high possibility that this lady is in your record collection. I could talk for hours about female backing vocalists, and a lot of people know it's one of those little quirks of mine. I love female backing vocalists. I think they're fantastic. And there was a group of about half a dozen of them that were just on everybody's albums. I'm going to do a special one there. I really am, just on them. I've tried to persuade a person I know who writes books, a chap by the name of Jerry Bloom, some of you may know, that he needs to write a book about these forgotten people, female backing vocalists, because they're wonderful. And you will have this. You will have records. I guarantee it. If you've got records from the 70s, especially if there's somebody who's in a band who made a solo album or something like that, you will have this person I'm talking about now, I'm going to talk about in a minute, in your record collection. And their voices, they're instantly recognisable. And I tell you what, this album is brilliant. This person put out quite a few singles before, and she was heralded by a person called Emperor Roscoe, if you've ever heard of him, an old DJ bloke from the late 60s, as the pretty kitty from the gritty city, because she was from Glasgow. And one or two of her singles were quite popular with her on Northern Soul Set, but she was on all these albums as a backing singer in the 1970s and beyond as well. And I finally tracked her one and only solo album down, and this is it. There you go. Barry St. John. According to St. John. Now, you can go and look in your record collection. If you've got albums from the 70s and they've got female backing vocals on it, I guarantee to you that you will find the name Barry St. John, Lisa Strike, Helen Chappell, Irene and Doreen Chandler. They're there all the time. This album is absolutely blinding. It's brilliant. I've been looking for it for ages, and I found it. So it's like I saw most people now looking at this and they're going, what is that old twit waffling on about again now? This is just an old obscure album from 1970 that some backing vocalist put out. No, this is a piece of rock history in your hand here. This is brilliant. This is automatically now, since I picked it up the other day, become one of my top records. You can only grab 10 before your house burns down. This is going to be one of the ones I'm going to grab hold of. And you know what? There's always a worry, isn't there, when you got an album like that you've been looking for so long, that it turns out to be a load of old rubbish. But this isn't a load of old rubbish. It is absolutely brilliant. It really is. I think you can probably listen to it on YouTube. It's almost impossible. I've seen one in 40 years of record collecting, and it wasn't a case of thinking, I should have bought that. It was a case of, you know what, 50 quid the bloke wanted for it. If he hadn't knocked anything off it, I'd have still bought it, because you're never going to see another one. Yeah, this has been the highlight of the year for me so far, record collecting. I've done all right so far this year, because I picked a few good things up in January, and there are one or two other things later on in this video that I've picked up that are good, and some that are going to be in part 2 as well. A couple of other grail type things, but yeah, this was the first thing that I picked up, and I know I've waffled on about this far too long without really telling you anything about it, but it's just classic belting sort of soul blues, late 60s, early 70s sort of sound. It is wonderful. It really is. I mean, it's great. This I'm just, yeah. Sure, no, but I'm not, because the majority of people watching this, all 7 of you, are probably mad record collectors like me, and you will know what it's like when you find something that you've wanted for ages, and then when you find it, it turns out to be as good as you hoped it was going to be. I don't know why I'd never thought of looking to see if I could listen to it on YouTube before, but some things don't cross my mind really. But yeah, there you go. That's the main purchase for February. It's the highlight of this episode. You can all switch off now if you want. Now I have got some other things to show, but I'd just like to put this up first. I think I've waffled a little bit too long about it, but yeah, Barry St. John, one of the A-listers when it came to female backing vocalists, and she was good enough to be out there front and centre on her own, and it's just a shame she didn't get to make more albums, because brilliant, absolutely brilliant this is. And from the same chap, I picked up a couple of Bobby Bland albums. Now, this one in particular is because this is a really old American compilation, the best of Bobby Bland. As you can see, if I show you the back, you can tell it's sort of, you can tell from these sort of, the way the cover's done, that it's an old sort of American thing. It's got a little bit of water damage up the corner, but I tell you what, the vinyl is absolutely pristine. Wonderful. Early Bobby Bland stuff on the Juke Records label. Juke Records, Erastus Street, Houston, Texas. The best of Bobby Bland. Great stuff. And I also picked up a later Bobby Bland album as well. This is one from the early 80s, I think. Bobby Bland, this is when he was starting calling himself Bobby Blue Bland. And this is, what's this one called? This is called Midnight Run, this one's called. You can tell this is up into the 80s type stuff. But again, it's classic stuff. It's really good, proper, good old belting out blues stuff. It's fantastic. Really good. Everybody knows that, anybody who's been watching me knows how much I like a Bobby Bland album. We all know how I got onto Bob Land as well, of course, the 8, 11 and a Heart of the City thing, which I actually mistakenly said in a video last year was a track that he wrote that obviously was covered by Whitesnake, 8, 11 and a Heart of the City, and became one of their concert staples. He didn't actually write it, he just covered it. But yeah, this is another great Bob Land album. You know what you're going to get with a Bob Land album. You're going to get a really good, cracking blues singer singing out some really good songs. So it was nice to pick this up as well. This was another interesting one that I picked up, which is a bit sort of obscure that people may not know about. It's Kathy Dalton, Boogie Bands and One Night Stands. Now, this is Little Feat with Kathy Dalton singing. It's great. It's really, really good. It was released before this under a different title. Previously was released under the title Amazing, I think it says, just a year or so before. This is really good. Kathy Dalton with Little Feat as her backing band. Boogie Bands and One Night Stand. You can tell what you're going to get from the fact of what the title is and the fact that Little Feat are playing on it. It's good stuff. I've never heard of it, and it was just one of those things that you took a gamble on. I thought, well, let's have a look at that. It doesn't make any mention at all on the back cover or anything about Little Feat being on it. I found that out afterwards. So yeah, good stuff. A few episodes ago, I said I don't buy compilation albums, and I don't usually, but every now and again I do. And this thing I've got now was just this was £3, and I thought, well, you know what, that's just interesting. I'm gonna buy that for £3. What's this? There, you see that? Wowie Zowie or Wowie Zoe, the world of progressive music. It's a compilation from Decca. Now, this is something of the age, isn't it? It's 1969, 1970 or something, but it's got this thing on the back, look. This is a mono version, so it's got a red dot. If it was stereo, it would have a blue dot. Now, the way they get the dot is because there's a hole in the back of the cover, and your cover inside is red for mono, blue for stereo. The same with the Rolling Stones albums and things like that. And I just thought, yeah, you know what, for £3, that's got to be worth a bit of a look. 42 minutes and 32 seconds of Wowie Zowie or Wowie Zowie, I don't know how you want to say it. What's it got on it? On side one, it's got Touch, John Mayall's Blues Breakers, Savoy Brown, Johnny Almond and East of Eden. And on side two, it's got Genesis, the Moody Blues, William R. Strickland, the John Cameron Quartet, and the Keith Hartley Band. And the Keith Hartley Band is a track called Not Foolish, Not Wise, and it's got written on the back cover from the forthcoming album, which I ain't got a title yet. It's just of the age. It's just like great. £3 you couldn't afford to turn it down, could you? It's great. It's just one of those nice little curiosities that you think, oh yeah, that's nice. So there you go. Nice little Decca compilation. I picked this up. This was I got this. This was one of the first things I got in there. Now, I hadn't got a clue it was. I just looked at it and I thought, do you know what? That looks like a sort of good 60s, 70s type cover of a singer-songwriter type person. There you go. This is what it is. Well, that's. It's quite obviously, you see that, you know that came out somewhere between 67 and 71 or something. There's no way that came out in the 1980s or the 1950s or whatever. You can age it from that. And then you think, well, I wonder who this bloke is. He's a bloke called David McWilliams. He's a Scottish chap. And this is very sort of folky, really folky. Although, to be honest, when I put it on, there was drums and all sorts of stuff. So it was a little bit more awful stuff than I expected. Great stuff, this. The cover is, you'd buy it for the cover, wouldn't you? Because that is just a piece of late 60s early sort of 70s art. But here's a bizarre thing. As we said before, been collecting records for goodness knows how long. Major Minor Records. I've never heard of them. I haven't got any records, I don't think anyway, on Major Minor Records. I picked this up at about the second store I went to, which was probably about 12 or something. I don't do things earlier than me. And Major Minor is the label that Barry St. John album was on that I was just telling you about earlier, which I ended up picking up about an hour later on. So, yeah, this is great. It's still got the little sleeve inside and all sorts. There's the Major Minor label and stuff. It's great. I think this is another one of those sort of albums that I don't think it's something that is particularly well known or whatever. It's scarce, probably more than anything. But if you see it around and you like your sort of like your folky stuff and your Dylans and your Donovans and all them, this is great. It's really good. It's brilliant stuff. David McWilliams. I think this is David McWilliams Volume 2. It's very hard to figure out which albums are which. There's all sorts of writing on the back here from people like David Jacobs, Jonathan King, well, I'll talk about him, Dominic Beckham and Mike Housego. All sorts of people saying how wonderful he is. Some of the leading personalities in the music industry say this, and they're all written there on the back, like they used to do in those old days. They used to get people like Terry Wogan and Noel Edmonds writing things about bands and stuff. But yeah, David McWilliams, if you see him around, it's well worth having a little listen to. Something just a bit more ordinary now. I just picked this up again because it was cheaper. I know she's good. Kim Carnes, £3 I think this was. Kim Carnes Voyeur. You know what you're going to get with the Kim Carnes album. It's good. It's great. Good stuff. Next is this. This is a band called Badger and an album called White Lady. Now, this is one of those albums that quite a few people will tell you about. It's a sort of a lost classic. It's not that lost because I managed to pick one up and it was £7. So it's not that lost. But I tell you what, this is really, really good stuff. If you're into all that sort of how would you describe it? I'm not sure how you describe it really. It's just good, solid 70s rock music with a little bit of thought in there, a lot of melody in there. It's really, really good. And one of the things I can tell you about it that will give you a bit of an idea of what it might sound like, to give you an idea, is produced by Alan Toussaint. So now you're all going to know, aren't you? Yeah, that's what it's going to sound like. It's got that Alan Toussaint sound to it. You see this about? Pick it up. Seriously do. Because it's one of those albums that's like under the radar for a lot of people. But yeah, it's great. White Lady Badger. I was pretty happy to pick up a copy of that. The next one, I can only show you the back sleeve because the front sleeve is... I was going to say the front sleeve is not politically correct these days, but I'm not sure it ever was, to be fair. I'm sure you know what it is. I'll show you the back cover. You can see the back cover. I don't need to show you the front, do I? But I haven't got a copy of this on vinyl. I've got a CD copy, but I don't know what it is when you get old and stuff, and you suddenly get into this vinyl resurgence and stuff. I want to hear how it was supposed to sound. So I want to get out and get a vinyl copy of it now, because it's with the cover and all that stuff. It's not the sort of thing that you want to spend a great deal of time perusing over. I just saw it sort of across. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I need that. Let's pop that in the deal. Well, it turns out this isn't a first pressing. This is a later pressing, which is a little bit disappointing, but it still sounds pretty good anyway. The bizarre thing was, bizarre the right word, I was meeting a few mates after the record fair. Well, it was one of our friends' birthday, and we've got this little thing where if it's your birthday, and we all have a day out on each other's birthday, and the person whose birthday doesn't pay for anything. So I said, yeah, I'm going to go to the record fair in the morning, we'll meet up in the pub afterwards. Of course, because I've got to a record fair, I was excruciatingly late, which they told me off about. But anyway, despite that, and the fact that they're not all that bothered about music, they are a little bit, but they're not as bothered about it as us. You know what I mean? But they still wanted to have a look what I'd bought, because I've got like 3 carrier bags. So I sort of got there just at the time where everybody ran out of drink, which meant I've got to go to the bar and buy a round of about 12 pints or whatever it was. But anyway, of course they're all like, yeah, have a look, but be careful. And of course they're waving all these albums about, and there's all these, because we're in this pub where they're doing like family lunches, and all these families in there, and they're waving this album. I'm going, put that one back in the bag, for God's sake. But anyway, for those of you that don't know what it is Blind Faith came out in America with a different cover. I can't show you the front cover on this because otherwise I'll get chucked off YouTube and locked up and all that sort of stuff. There's lots and lots and lots been written about why the cover was done in the first place, why it wasn't or whatever. But the bizarre thing about it is it was still being reprinted and sold in archery record shops 5 or 10 years ago, as far as I'm aware. But anyway, there you go. Forget that, we shouldn't have to talk about it, we should be talking about the album. This has got some great songs on it, really good stuff. I'm going to be careful how I do this now, because if I sort of like I want to read the tracks to you so you know what's on it, because you're going to learn some of them, and lots of other stuff that Eric Clapton and Steve Winwood done live concerts and stuff. It's Had to Cry Today, Can't Find My Way Home, Sea of Joy, all those tracks, you all know them. This is an absolutely wonderful album. Forget the cover. Great album. While we're on the subject of Steve Winwood, I got a glaring sort of like hole in my traffic discography. In fact, I haven't got the live album. This one, Last Exit. Was it called Last Exit? No, it's called On the Road. Last Exit was the other one, wasn't it? Which was half. It was a half live and half studio, which I've got somewhere. This is the proper full-fledged live album. It's a great sort of really Traffic on the Road, and then the cover like that. It's quite good. I always thought I wanted Mud to do a live one called Live on the Road, or something. There's a Mud on the Road. Anyway, but Traffic is on the Road is nearly as good. Anyway, so yeah, I haven't got a copy of this, and I was happy to pick that up as well. Again, little needs to be said about this. Apart from that, it's a pretty good live album. Next is somebody who I featured in the last Acquisitions video. I picked up one of her albums that I've been looking for a while, and lo and behold, it's one of those things, isn't it? You wait for a bus and one comes along, and then all of a sudden, none come along, and then all of a sudden 3 come along at once. And so I found 2 albums by this lady who I got an album from on the last Acquisitions video, and it's this lady here, Dana Gillespie. This is the older one of the 2 that was the follow-up album to the album that I showed you before. This is really great stuff again, rocky sort of blues and stuff. And you can see the cover there, and nice back cover as well. I'm pretty sure it's a gatefold. It's a gatefold sleeve as well. Let's just put that one up there for a second. And that one, it's called Ain't Gonna Play No Second Fiddle. And I don't think it's quite as good as the previous one, but it's still pretty nice. It's got the lyrics inside there, and nice sort of, well, they used to do that, doing the same picture twice, like they can't be bothered to take 2 photographs. They just have one facing that way and one facing the other way. Almost sort of lazy one. I suppose it saved a bit of money. So there's the back cover of that. So yeah, Dana Gillespie, Ain't Gonna Play No Second Fiddle. That was the follow-up to the one from the last Acquisition video, which I think was called Ain't a Man, or I Ain't No Man, or something. But yeah, this is great. The other one that they had by Dana Gillespie was a later one where she'd gone really more down a straight blues route, and this is Dana Gillespie Blue Job. Now, for those of you that don't know about sort of Dana Gillespie, there's a lot of that sort of jazzy double entendre stuff involved with Dana Gillespie's sort of music. And this album is called Blue Job. Now, I'll leave that to everyone else's imagination. But what I will tell you is the title of some of the other songs on it. A Lot of What You Got, Sailor's Delight, Big 10-inch record, where she sings about wanting to see somebody's big 10-inch. King Size Popper, Organ Grinder, Tongue in Cheek, and this could be the female David Coverdale. Wasn't That Good, Play With Your Poodle, Too Many Drivers, Nosy Joe. That's a brilliant song, Nosy Joe. You've got to listen to Nosy Joe. Digging My Potatoes, Mainline Baby, and Snatch and Grab It. Dana Gillespie, Blue Job. Oh, it's brilliant. And there's a little sticker on the back here, as you can see. It says Import Angleterre Path Marconi. Brilliant. I don't know what that means. It was imported from here to somewhere else and then ended up back here, or whether it was imported from here from somewhere else. I don't know. But it's great. This is like it's this like real sort of blues jazz sort of stuff, with a little bit of like George Melly sort of lyricy type stuff in there. But it's really nice, really good album. Different to the earlier stuff, but it's great. Plenty of Dana Gillespie on YouTube. You can go and have a look if you've never heard of her. She's great. I saw her at the Robin Hood Club in Brawley Hill back in the early 90s, I think it must have been. Really good night. And finally, thank goodness, the two viewers who are still left cry. The final three. Oh no, three. You're going to waffle on about 3 albums. Well, I'm going to do 3 at once, because these are 3 all by the same person. Now, these 3 albums are all by this lady here. I'm not covered it sort of like looks sort of. You see the best? Maria Muldaur. Now, a lot of people have probably never heard of Maria Muldaur. She's great in a sort of playing sort of like early 70s, mid 70s stuff, rock, blues, gospel-y type stuff. So we've got 3 albums here. We've got Sweet Harmony, that was like about 1976. Southern Winds, this one. Now, I'm sure some of your ears are pricked up there. Southern Winds, rings a bell. Alan Toussaint again. Alan Toussaint is producing this stuff. Great album. And then her first album, what was her second album? This is her second album. Her first album, I haven't actually got her first album yet, is Waitress in a Donut Shop. It's great stuff. It's American, folky, bluesy, gospel-y, rocky stuff. It's great. Go and have a listen to it. So I was really happy to pick those 3 up for virtually nothing. So no mention of Deep Purple today, apart from the fact that Barry St. John sang backing vocals on The Butterfly Ball, Roger Glover, and backing vocals on David Coverdale's first solo album, Whitesnake. But there you go, get him in somewhere, don't you? That's latest acquisitions. It's hard to say at this time of night. Latest acquisitions edition, February, March, part 1. We'll do part 2 towards the back end of next week. I know I keep making all these, say I'm going to do this, but my other activities, shall we say, other jobs that I have which pay money, this one doesn't. And so I have to do the ones that pay money first, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to buy these records or stay alive even. So sometimes real work has to come in the way, so it means I can't do a video without. Not that anybody's bothered. I watched a thing the other week. They're talking about how to make a YouTube channel, stand and all that sort of stuff. And they said, why do people go on and go, I'm sorry, I've not done a video for 3 weeks. Nobody cares that you haven't done a video for 3 weeks, because they got hundreds of other people to watch, and they ain't waiting on you, mate. So that's why I didn't say that at the beginning. Well, I've said it now. So while I remember, because the other thing you're supposed to ask people to like and subscribe, and it's a bell or something, but I always forget to do that as well. But by now, even the last 3 have probably switched off as well, so I'm probably talking to myself now. So if anybody finds this in like 2065, I'm probably dead by now. Yeah, you can find any of these records around, you'll probably still like them. That'll be good. Anyway, there we go. So that's it. That's the first batch of latest acquisitions, February, March 2024, part 1. I'll do part 2. And yeah, I'm going to leave it until no more post can come, which I think is Friday, isn't it? Because I'm hoping something big will turn up in the week. And if it does, I can include that. If it doesn't, then we'll do it without it. But in the meantime, if other things allow, I will do the second episode of Boxing Clever. The first episode of that. That's Christmas, I think. I'm going to do the second episode of Boxing Clever in between as well. So there you go. So nice to see everybody again. I don't know what people say because I can't see anybody. All I can see is the camera over there. Whatever. Anyway, enough waffling's been done by me tonight. One last opportunity to flash this up the other way around, and I'll see you next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe as it helps the channel to grow. See you soon.